All right, good morning, good evening, good night, Web3. We are bringing you NFT Live. We're getting after it today. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Monday. We were on an alpha show just like 5 seconds ago. Thank you guys for showing up to that as well. That's an awesome Twitter Spaces to get started, but YouTube is where you get to see our pretty faces. So that's pretty much what's going on. GIF, what's up? Other than that pretty face, what's up?
I'm chugging coffee. Yeah, I'm over here chugging coffee, Q. That's what's up.
You almost sound
No,
like a different person.
Yeah, I'm battling a little bit of the conference cold. I was down in San Diego at Web3 SD. I got to mod an awesome dev panel, got to meet some homies. Shout out all the homies from San Diego. Obviously Creatress, Issa, Double D, Drew, Denzyson from Eternal Royals. Just some of my favorites. Cray Train. Yo, freaking Cray Train. The absolute homie. Got to hang out with her. Had a blast. And then got to meet a few new, old friends from the space for the first time. New IRL friends like Flipicadabra. Got to meet a really cool dude named Cloud, who's a super, awesome dev. A bunch of others. JP, CJ, I don't know. Anyway, it was a great time. And now I'm battling a cold, but happy to be here, happy to be alive.
You're such a trooper, GIF. I appreciate you getting after it. A true professional as we get started here, and we're still sick. That looks like a terrible drink, but I'm going to get to some of the chat here.
It's an oat milk latte. It's an oat milk latte, bro. Don't hate.
All right, I won't. Genetics, General Sorrow saying hi and AFK. So hi and bye, I guess. Hash Rhymes, our vibe, our tribe. Zoo NFT, our vibe, our tribe. Fun Uncle, hype, and then Action Crypto saying great spaces, guys.
Shout out Fun Uncle. New episode. He posted it just yesterday. So on the Web3 YouTube, new episode of Fun Uncle. It's actually really cool, and it's a pre-recorded interview. He's of course got his normal. At the end, he's got his normal like headlines and highlights, but it's good production quality. He's up in his game and doing some cool stuff. And we got to shout him out. We need to clip those, Q. We got to get Jacob to clip up some of those Fun Uncle clips.
I think he is. I think he is. So we have to ask Fun Uncle if we can use that IP. Basically, that's the sitch.
Okay, yeah. Let us know, Fun Uncle. Can we share those clips on our channels? You let us know.
All right. We have a bunch to get to today, topics related. A lot happened over the weekend. If you didn't know, your exit liquidity for Web 2. That's essentially what's happening. We're flipping the script here. You know the conversations or do you want to know the conversations your aunt, uncle, brother, sister were having about Bitcoin when you sold 60K Bitcoin to them when they didn't get in, but you got in early around 10K. And then that's what's happening with Reddit NFTs right now. Web 2 Reddit users were able to buy these NFTs for like $10 and now they're selling for $1,000. And so this is what it feels like to be exit liquidity. If you are buying Reddit NFTs right now, you probably have a little bit more of a ceiling to go. I mean, who knows where this stops, but it is a pump for sure. And, Web 2 users are being onboarded.
They are. So yeah, the other side of that, besides us being exit liquidity, is that, they now are potentially more interested in going down the funnel, down the rabbit hole, getting into NFTs more and maybe reinvesting some of those profits back into the space. But if nothing else, there's a lot of people who are getting a good first experience with digital collectibles, digital avatars, or assets who might be more crypto or NFT curious now and may even be longtime, fans because they made a bag off their first flip.
Yeah, there's a lot of features that go into Reddit that make them almost like ready to use NFTs or want to get behind avatar collectibles or collectible avatars is how Reddit even put it. That's a whole nother topic of conversation. Great marketing there by their team. It's not calling it NFTs maybe, but I almost look at Reddit like Web 2.5. Like they're not all the way analog, and therefore they're ready to roll.
Actually, I love that you said that, Q. A couple things there, but especially the concept of Web 2.5. One of the things Cray Train, during her keynote address, the finale of Web3 SD, one of the things that she talked about in her presentation is that the majority of people are going to be successful going through Web 2.5, right? Mm-hmm. Most people are not going to make the jump from Web 2 straight into Web 3. You could argue we aren't even in Web 3 yet, right? But like the majority, again, we're talking about the masses, like the people who are, your uncle, your aunt, your mom, your dad, they're going to need some kind of bridge into Web3, some kind of intermediate experience that helps them get there. And that is exactly what Reddit is doing, right? They're showing the value, the utility, and creating a bridge, a way in for potentially millions of new people.
And to be fair, these millions of users were probably shitting on NFTs. That's kind of the meme that's going on around now. They're kind of being psyoped into it. Yeah.
Those are the best combos on Reddit, is the people being like, hey, actually, I hate it. I hate NFTs, but these avatars are kind of cool.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There you go. So we're almost seeing it in real time. So big shout out to Reddit. It has been a long time coming. It wasn't like they just launched NFTs over the weekend. If anything, the collectible avatars were launched about 4 months ago. But even before that, Reddit was getting into I keep blanking on the actual tokens, but there were 2 community tokens that people could earn, and I believe they were like on a net, maybe on like a private blockchain, maybe a public blockchain. So it was a while ago. They've been in this for a minute, trying to at least get their users kind of a little bit, just a taste, and then they kind of gave them the collectible avatar. So really good job, really good case study.
And this is also why things like what Starbucks is doing with integrating, it's the big brands who already have communities like Reddit, like Starbucks. Starbucks has all of these app, rewards app downloads on people's phones, and they're just going to seamlessly integrate NFT technology and utilities into this existing user base. And so Action Crypto is in the chat saying people like to go with what they already know and new features instead of something hard to understand that's totally new. And that's the point, right? Is that these integrations, these big brand integrations that are just using the technology to add some kind of additional value or utility are going to be the way that most of like the millions of masses start to come into the space. And it is very Web 2.5. The other last note that I want to make on this rambling rant that I'm doing right now is that the other part that this Reddit thing brings up is the digital identity component and how massive this is going to be. It is going to be one of the biggest use cases, one of the biggest points of like, why do NFTs, why does blockchain matter? It is going to be like how your digital identity is stored, owned, valued, traded, interacted with. All of this stuff is going to be so important in the future over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years of our lives. Our digital identities are going to be arguably more important than our IRL identities. Yeah. That is what the metaverse is. We are moving into the metaverse where our digital lives become more and more of a focus. That is what it is. And NFTs and PFPs especially are at the center of that. Everybody's been like, yo, PFPs are dead. It was a fad. It was a fad. Nah, there are so many people around the world that are going to be coming online looking for avatars, digital avatars, whatever that is.
Yeah. Again, it's a complex argument as to like why PFPs and what we know it as in this last cycle aren't as popular now. But you see the Reddit version of a PFP is doing extremely well. People want to edit, create, and that was a big feature here, which we usually we have a structure here on the episode, guys. We go from quick hits to maybe a larger story like this, but it's such a big story that we might as well jump into it. So we'll pull it up on the screen here, like links you should check out and things like this to see floor price. People want to get involved and buy these secondary on OpenSea or one of the larger Polygon marketplaces is the way to go. But yeah, people, essentially the utility for these PFPs is to, one, having a digital identity, but then be able to actually edit your digital identity. So now if you have this PFP, this collectible avatars, they're saying they put it as their profile picture and they can actually attach different wearables, attach different things to that avatar to be unique, which at the heart of your argument, it's right there. That's it. It's like full stop. You don't need anything else.
and you hit on this morning. Like, we already know that people are willing to pay a lot of money for this because this is what a lot of, especially live service games are built on, is skins. People buying things to make their profiles or their avatars more unique or different. Like, League of Legends is a free game. And it's like the biggest game in the world. How are they supporting all of that? Oh yeah, because they get you in and then you want to pimp out your profile and your character with all these things, right? So it's like I don't know. It's crazy to me. What one last note there is that we've been hitting on this a lot. Reddit is on Polygon. Starbucks is on Polygon. All of these are on Ethereum, but if you're not bullish on Polygon, like that is where the big brands are going to be integrating. Like, yes, maybe some gaming will go to Solana. You know, there's a couple other chains that, of course, will be doing well, but Polygon right now is leading the charge in terms of scalable layer two solutions and integrations on the Ethereum blockchain. So if you're not bullish on Polygon, like there have been so many of these big brand announcements over the last couple months that haven't even come online.
Mm-hmm.
Like there, you're not actually gonna see the network use case and those millions of new wallets that we're seeing with Reddit. Like Reddit launched 4 months ago, and now we're just getting the headlines of the results of 3 million new crypto wallets were created on Polygon just through Reddit alone. Like that's what's going to be coming over the next couple of years for Polygon is a lot more of these headlines. Some of them are going to fail, but I just mean like, look, a lot of the action, a lot of the big scalable brand integrations are going to be happening on Polygon. So not financial advice,
I
but
I
I'm
mean, and
bullish.
you saw the chart there too. You saw the chart there. Basically, it's saying that the market feels that way too. You know, up 20%, up 12% in the last 30 days. That doesn't sound like a lot, but in a market that's consistently going down, I mean, you look at the charts for everything else that isn't having some positive bullish news, and in the last 30 days, they're down another 20%, already off the highs of like down 80%. So the fact that the market's reacting that way is, yeah, Polygon obviously has like a growing marketplace. I saw Aave was up as well. If you guys don't know what Aave is, it's a very built out DeFi platform there on the Polygon network. So really, really, a lot of things in that ecosystem are popping off. So I want to stay in the Reddit avatar. I did show a marketplace kind of, I guess, analyzer here. You kind of have the floor prices. I mean, if I open this up and go back even to 5 days ago, there were only 5 sales happening and they were at less than $100. So you like, again, the analytics on these things we're still trying to get our head around it. It really popped off over the last 7 days, I would say, but we've been talking about it for like 2 weeks. That was a whole nother thing early on in the episode. It's like, shit, that's what would happen on NFT Live like 2 years ago. Was like we would talk about something, I would get distracted, like I got something else to do, show to put on, and I wouldn't buy it. But like if we bought Reddit NFTs when we started talking about them,
And we gotta, you know what? And we gotta pause to give ourselves credit here because you know what? A lot of these shows are all focused on fucking alpha and like we try and educate around the space, but like what's actually important for you to pay attention to, where's the alpha, where are the opportunities is a big thing here, right? So there's been a couple of things that we've hit on already on the show. Genuine Undead, we were talking about that when it first launched. It's been popping off. Stoics, we got our community in on that with Whitelist, Sans Sound. These are all things that we've been hitting on over the last couple of months that are fucking like doing really well. We were talking about Reddit early, saying it was going to be one of the biggest stories of the year. It had potential to be massively successful. We've hit on it multiple times on the show. So I hope people are listening. I hope people are taking notes because you know what? Again, It's not financial advice, but like we're hitting on a lot of these things early.
yeah, we are. And to be honest, like we're talking Aave here, which I'll pull up in a second, but we are touching on these things early. It's not just us either. Like we're definitely giving ourselves a pat on the back there. And we like you were talking about Stoics, but like the community also has comments on these different pieces too, right? Like they're saying, I'm getting into this, I'm getting into that. And we kind of do our due diligence as one of the individuals there in the spaces this morning was talking about. Like if we could do our due diligence as a community, it's a lot easier to parse and then source better information.
I think that was Action CEO, who looks like they're in the chat. So shout out Action Crypto. I think that's probably Action CEO. If I'm wrong, apologies. But yeah, cool to see you here.
I'm gonna try to pull up more information here on Reddit for you guys. Like I might just pull up the Twitter thread around Reddit NFT. If you just type it into Twitter, is amazing. Kix has been talking about this a lot. This is the guy that was talking about in our influencer list GIF, speculator art, but he's been all over this as well, talking about how like it's basically again like a red pill for Web 2 people. Like it's a total switch up because they're not used to selling NFTs or any assets to us Web 3. Usually we're early and we're kind of using them as exit liquidity, but now it's like the entire market's been switched. Like they're literally getting in before we are. So
Yeah, how the turns table, right? I mean, that's what happens. And I love. I think it was Andrew Yang up there, Andrew Wang or whatever. He was talking about how his Reddit PFP is better than most PFPs. What was that comment about Poly?
It was just talking about the bullish case on Polygon, right? Like you hit on it.
Yeah.
That basically Polygon is going to continue because
Yeah.
they seem to have the right strategy around what they're
Well,
trying to build.
and we hit on this morning, right? Is that success leads into more, more, right? It just creates more opportunities, right? And so one of the things that we were talking about is that when Reddit initially launched their avatars, again, they didn't call them NFTs. This is, again, things that we've been speculating on, talking about. That is, we're just seeing it all like happen in real time right now. But when they first launched their digital avatars, didn't call them NFTs, they didn't do a lot of onboarding or education within their established community or ecosystem, very similar to Coinbase. Coinbase, we were all so hyped up about Coinbase NFT launching because of the potential that they have with an established audience, user base of almost 100 million crypto investors, crypto users. But when they launched, it was very much like an internal. It was, well, yes and no. I mean, they're scaling it now, so you could argue it's been successful, and they're just doing it very, very incrementally. Because here's what they do: they don't invest millions of dollars up front in this. What they do is they basically create like a startup internally. So they have a very small team, and they try and build it out and prove out a concept. And now that they've seen that they've had a couple of successful launches on it and like it's getting some adoption, now they're actually starting to educate and onboard their user base. And so I think Reddit did a very similar thing. I think this was an experiment. If it didn't really work, like no big deal. Like it's just a small thing that, they don't really focus on, or maybe they even stop supporting it in the future. Like it's just like a small thing. They don't overinvest. But now that it's been hugely successful, I think they're going to start doing a lot more crypto NFT. Again, they might not call it NFTs, but I think that they're going to be adding a lot more value, a lot more utility, and starting to do more education for their community. And that's what's fucking big about all this shit. And that, to whatever that tweet was, they're kind of saying that, right? It's like this creates the opportunity for more traction, more growth.
Yeah. Yeah, in the spaces and also on NFT Live here in the chat, guys, well, you guys bring a lot of different takes, which I appreciate. Like Marty McFly, who I'm going to talk about just in a second. I'm also going to pull up your tweet here.
Marty was shitting on it. Marty was shitting on it, bro.
Here's the tweet though. Like so this is Marty's tweet. As usual, the NFT space can only handle one topic per day. Today, Reddit NFTs. Tomorrow, whatever anyone else to talk about. I think there is a valid point there. Like we are very much ADHD in this market. People can make so much money so quickly, even in a bear market. It like pays to pay attention and talk about that next hype thing, as we already talked about. We hit on some projects, but to the point that I think we were kind of going back and forth on the morning show was like, I think he brought up Vive, he brought up Coinbase NFT and a couple others. It's like Vive specifically was completely closed off, wasn't already a social platform. Like that's the big thing that you have to take into account here is like Reddit has, totally, and they have it in that same way that Coinbase does. I would say a way more in depth, right? Like you have all these subreddits, like these subreddits and this community is not just a bunch of indirectly like connected traders that you see on Coinbase NFT. Like no one's really seeing each other on Coinbase NFT. Maybe they have a ton of users, but there's not this like insular community that you can then join on Coinbase NFT. So
Reddit's utility in that community is not built on liquidity and floor prices and NFT flipping. There's a lot of other value that people are going there every single day. This is just additional utility. Yeah. That's why it's like, yeah, it's a totally different thing, in my opinion.
I do think we let Coinbase off the hook there a little bit on their initial launch. Like they timed that very, very, and some of that's like not their fault, but they timed it poorly, right? Like I think Coinbase NFT launched in like February, March, maybe a little bit sooner than that. So it's like literally at the exact point of the bear market starting. If you even like go back to some of the charts, that December 2021 was when we saw the kind of peaks on like Bitcoin, Ethereum. That was like 5K Ethereum at that point. I wish those days were back. But Coinbase NFT had the users, but it doesn't look exactly the same as like a Reddit, like we just talked about. But they have, to their credit, decided, hey, we're going to actually roll this out in a different way. We learned some things on that first launch. It's not just going to be a turn the lights on and we're going to have a whole bunch of sales. There were some days where they were getting like 10 ETH worth of sales. And for a project that big, or like a company that big, it wasn't a good look. But yeah.
Again, you've got to invest. Like, I feel like a broken record saying this, but like you can't just show up in Web3 and expect people to be handing over their bags to you. That's the craziest thing about so many of these, again, big brands, big celebrities, is they just show up and they expect, well, we've got a big brand, we've got a big name, people know us in Web2, so everybody's just going to be lining up to buy our NFTs and hand over their ETH. It's like, nah, you got to invest time and energy onboarding and educating your community so that there's people there waiting, ready, excited for you. And again, Coinbase didn't do that, but they have started now that they've gotten, they've gotten their legs under them. They've gotten a couple successes. They see the potential. And so that's what's exciting to me. And yeah, I think, to Marty's point, look, yes, like all of the headlines are very short-lived in the NFT space, but the good companies, like, they keep building and they keep showing up every couple months or something like that. Reddit was in the headlines when they first launched, and now they're back in the headlines a couple months later because it's working. They're doing their thing, right? So yeah, I don't think like necessarily we're going to be talking about Reddit every day, but they're gonna be around. They're gonna keep showing up every couple months, I think.
Shout out to Genetics, Mr. Joker, Action Crypto. You guys are absolutely getting it after in the chat there. The Rubber Duck for real, which is an awesome name. Marty McFly saying, I think no one will be talking about Reddit NFTs in 1 to 2 months. Only time will tell, but my bet is placed. I think going back to it, it depends on like how much they want to get involved here. They clearly have a successful product. Like you were talking about how many wallets they had as comparison to OpenSea. Like more wallets in OpenSea, like that is a strong starting point to jump off from. It feels like they should take this as a win and be like, we want to jump more into it. But at the end of the day, they could not, like that would be my bearish case. It's like Reddit still wants to do Web 2 things and not jump into this. But if they do end up like ramping it up, I could see Reddit being a fucking huge player. And that sounds
it's going to be
like
huge.
Such a,
well,
yeah.
But the other thing that we haven't touched on this is like the value that they present within the larger economy and ecosystem, because they've got now more wallets than OpenSea, and because it's a robust community that they've integrated into, that's just super active, that has the DAUs, that has the MAUs, it's got the activity. And now they've got, again, more Polygon wallets than OpenSea has total wallets. They are now the ideal launch pad for most brands. So it's like they are so primed and positioned now to be one of the biggest places for NFTs and cryptos and brand integrations, to be doing all kinds of different valuable activations, right? And so Marty McFly's over here like making a comparison to Top Shot, NBA Top Shot. First of all, who's using their NBA Top Shot?
Apples to oranges.
I think these are totally different things, right? Yeah. So like I love Marty's points and that he's always coming in with hot takes, but like I agree with Q. I think these are very different things. First of all, who's using their Top Shot as a PFP? It doesn't even have that utility. And then that entire closed system is built around buying and flipping, basically digital trading cards, right?
Yeah.
It had a moment. Flow isn't even well integrated into exchanges. I think Top Shot is going to come back eventually too, once they figure some of their shit out and like figure out how to provide additional utility. But the point is that Reddit by itself already has a ton of utility, and now it's got just more.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a different thing.
I do want to get into the details here because someone was asking like, how do I list my Reddit NFTs? I'm almost positive, one, that we need to get more information here because we've like stayed a little bit top level. Like me and you haven't bought any Reddit NFTs even when we were talking about it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would love to get into the weeds there. I know that it can be bought on secondary marketplaces that offer Polygon support. So OpenSea has been a big one. So if you want to list there, that's fine. I think also we're going to get into the Blur token airdrop, which you can still get. It's still open. It was like a 14-day
About
window.
eight. I think it's about 8 more days because
Yeah.
I'm just doing mine today. I'm just getting to it. But yeah, look, Blur, there's a bunch of controversy around they've taken money from Beanie, and apparently what I've heard is they didn't even actually know because he was doing it through like a company, a subsidiary company. So they might be taking money from all kinds of shady characters, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the marketplace is a rug or bad or anything. I think I'm going to collect my Blur care packages. I'm doing it right now. I recommend everybody just do it anyway because you never know. It could be worth something, and they're at least doing something different. Again, I think that the incentivizing royalty payments it's a neat idea. But to me, it's kind of an in between. Like, I don't think it's the best solution necessarily. I don't think it's a full solution to protect artist royalties, but at least they're innovating and trying new things. And they are targeting a very specific audience, which is NFT traders. And they're trying to provide a different utilities and a different kind of trading platform. So I don't know. I'm here to see where it goes, and I'm not going to FUD it until I know more. I'm just going to get my care packages.
Well, I like that we were in the middle of talking about royalties the last 2 weeks, and like a couple of the arguments that were made in chat, and I certainly was like on this side, and I think Kane Mayfield has a lot to say about this as well, probably because he was a stockbroker at one point. But it's like you almost want to like see the reaction from the free market, right? Like what happens when this happens, and then someone has a reaction, a marketplace comes along that says, actually, we offer this. And that's what Blur did. Blur came out. That was like front and center with them, was like, you're actually going to get more tokens if you pay the full royalty. Now we'll see what happens. Like, are people going to do that? That's kind of the example or the case study that we need to see. But it's really cool to be having those conversations in real time and then see that be at the forefront of the next marketplace.
Well, and it's also just an interesting experiment in terms of the airdrop mechanics, right? Because they're doing it with these care packages. You don't actually know what they're valued at. All you know is how many care packages you have and the rarity of those care packages right now. And then this is going to play out over the next several months, right? So you may not even know like what kind of tokens you have for months, but it's going to be an interesting experiment, and that's always cool.
Yeah, it's always cool to see great people in chat too. Brian is saying the founder, Pac-Man Blur, distanced himself from Beanie already. So that's the guy over at Blur. So maybe he's starting to get the picture there. Action has been in chat. He said, off topic, but I know a bit about YouTube. Big reason I'm blowing up the chat is engagement numbers. YouTube is starting to push the stream to more people right now. So we appreciate everybody that's commenting in chat. If you can leave a like, that definitely helps the algo as well. If you don't know about the network, just smash that shit.
Smash that shit. Let's go.
We just launched Web3 2 weeks ago. I mean, that's actually crazy to like say out loud,
Not
but
even.
yeah, it's been a great ride so far. We've been able to do NFT lives 4 times a week after GM Web3. We've gotten Speakeasy up and running for season 2. Fun Uncle is, of course, getting out some good content as well, and we're just seeking to grow the network. So it's been really fun. Thank you guys for being here, and please, if it's your first time here, leave a sub because we got a lot of things coming. We do have a Rarible piece to talk about. I do want to get out there that we do have Alex Salnikov from Rarible, the CEO over there, on the channel tomorrow. So he's going to come on in a long form like podcast interview. If you're not familiar with the network as much and all the shows we have, it is the NFTYQ show. That is that like 45 to 50 minute long form interview podcast show that we have on the network. So that should be fun.
One-on-one. You're going one-on-one with the CEO of Rarible.
Grilling him. Hopefully he's not watching right now.
Mano a mano. Yeah, I'll be interested to watch that. Shout out NFTYQ show. It's great. This guy over here is a great interviewer. But yeah, man, Rarible I think has a lot of issues, and so obviously that's why they're coming out with Rarible too. They're trying to compete with all these other marketplaces. Apparently, DApp Radar, which again, we've got questions about DApp Radar's data, but DApp Radar puts them at the number 9th ninth largest marketplace. So it's crazy just from where we came starting out. Like Rarible and OpenSea were the two big dogs. Like it was basically them as the aggregators, and then there was the smaller sort of curated closed gardens like Foundation, which nobody even talks about Foundation that much anymore. But yeah, it was like Foundation and Super Rare, with those smaller, curated marketplaces, and then it was OpenSea and Rarible. Rarible's been out of the conversation. Their product has not been good, and so they're trying to relaunch basically with new utility. So I'll be very interested to see how that conversation goes.
Yeah, I'm going to try to find the DApp radar analysis there on the different marketplaces and see the different rankings. But yeah, just give me a second. I think I actually might have found that immediately. Let's see.
What a guy. Absolute professional over here.
Wait, is this a P2C platform now? Pay to chat? No, not yet. We will see if we can move down that rabbit hole. But anyways, it looks like there's this does not have. This is probably not what we're looking for because they're using like DeFi apps, quick swap.
Yeah, Uniswap's number 2.
Yeah,
I don't think that's an NFT platform.
Yeah, so this looks like just dexes in general. So maybe marketplaces. Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right. So this is what they're obviously looking at in that article.
Rarible's number 7. Okay, so maybe this announcement got a little bit more activity going on Rarible.
Number of unique active wallets. It might be a volume. Let's see where they're at by volume. Yeah, number 16 by volume. Oof. Yeah, so I'm thinking they're taking users there. But yeah. So we were able to see what they saw in real time when looking at and making that article. But yeah, tomorrow we'll be talking with Rarible. We are going to have a little bit of discussion on that. We've been talking about Reddit. I do want to get like everybody's last take before we move on. But here are the topics pretty much for today. We've got some quick hits that we want to get to. Azuki had that NFT sale or like physical skateboards. They sold, I think what they said was the most expensive skateboard sale in history is how they put it. We have some IRS tax guidelines. We do also have that blur token airdrop. Maybe we can walk through that. Maybe even on your screen, GIF. Like that would probably be most interactive since you've already done that.
Yeah, I can try and share my screen, do a couple of them. Do we want to do that right now, or just?
Last thoughts on Reddit. Let's close out the Reddit conversation. If anybody has any kind of last tidbits of information, obviously like where to buy, what you should be buying. There's another thing. So like in detail, these were all launched as 10,000.
So what I know is that, okay, there's a bunch of different artists. I think it's 40 different artists. And so I think there's 1,000 of each artist, which is 40,000 total. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe there's 40,000 total across different artist-focused collections. And the one that I know of that was getting the biggest sales a couple months ago was the Senses collection. So I know that's the like that top one, black and white. That's a Sense. That's from the Senses collection,
yeah,
I believe.
Right.
Yeah. So that is, I believe, the most popular of all the artist collections for Reddit so far. That's all I know, though. So please share more info. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. I want to know. I love it. I love when people call me out, especially when Marty calls me out. It's my favorite thing.
So we're going through this in real time with you guys. Again, these all look like the same, right? Like that would be my initial reaction. But I think, again, the utility of having these
That's
NFTs.
Just the floor. That's just the floor. So there's different. They're not all different, but there's different designs in each collection. So there are like a bunch of that. But if you go to the highest priced ones and scroll a little bit, I think you'll find a few different designs within each collection.
So yeah, see different design. Yeah, there you go. The different designs. Also, the other point, right? The collectibles that you can actually like edit the avatar with. Like that's a whole nother thing. So like you could have base floors.
This is so dynamic NFTs and automated NFTs that update with
sick.
Imagine when your POAPs are actually integrated into your digital identity in some cool way. That's like the future of so much of this. Again, digital, it's a passport. Like I think your PFP, like dynamic automated NFT, like PFP projects that you can use for your digital identity that update based upon events and cool things that you go to are going to be huge. It's going to be like a passport that you wear and shows off like, yo, like here's all my fucking patches, just like you do on your jacket, right? Like I've got patches and pins, all these fucking pins. I got my DBs and Witchy GF pins next to my dinosaur, butt feet or whatever, and all these different pins that I've collected from these awesome NFTs and events that I've gone to. I think our PFPs, that's the future of like digital identity, is our PFPs are going to be dynamic and automated. So when you go somewhere, it'll like your BFF friendship bracelet, it'll add shit to it.
Dynamic NFTs, I could get behind that. I could get behind those being the most popular. So that makes sense too. The ability to add things to a larger NFT, and you could do a lot of things like Charged Particles has been adding ERC20s into NFTs for a while, right? They had that innovation like 2 years ago. You could actually earn interest with the NFT. Like I could put tokens into an NFT and earn interest on that. Like obviously there's a lot of back end stuff. They need to make sure that seems easy to the untrained eye. But speaking of the untrained eye, Action Crypto is saying they look the same to the untrained eye. I think a lot of them are the same. Like literally,
I'm pretty sure he just told you don't know what you're doing.
True. And look, I'm learning in real time. That's the beauty of doing this with you guys. We get to look like idiots sometimes. But
it's good. I get trolled a lot. Nobody ever trolls Q. So y'all need to get on Q's ass a little bit more in the chat. That's for sure.
Asmodai is saying, did you two get into CloneX? If so, are you grabbing a spot on the 3K USD luggage? Listen, we covered this last week. I am not a fan of the luggage for $3,000. No, I'm cool. I don't need collectible like designer brand luggage. Like that's just not my thing.
No, that's their audience though. They're in the fashion and like high end, fashion drops. That's Nike. It makes sense for them to me. I'm not getting into it. Yeah, I'm not collecting $3,000 collectible luggage. It's just gonna get beat up and destroyed when you travel and they throw it around, as they're like moving it. And then it gets lost, and then it shows up on your doorstep 2 weeks later after you get home, and it's just absolutely wrecked because it's been, in a million different vans, just absolutely just crushed. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's not my thing. I am not in CloneX yet, but I want to get into it. I am very bullish on CloneX in general, and that is something that we've also talked about at Q.
I am bullish on Gabriel Allred. That is Gabe from BitElectro Labs, a good friend of the community, a good friend of the network. So we see you there in chat, Gabe. Definitely, we want to get you on NFT Live on these discussions, man. So if you want to hop up right now, I could send you an invite. You let me know if you're available to that. Speaking of someone who's on the show and an awesome creator, Ronan the Collector. I've had more PMs sent to me on the Reddit in the past week than ever before.
So engagement is going up on the platform because of all this hype. Dude, I'm telling you, this is one of the
we're simping out.
This shit, yo. No, we called this. I fucking called this months ago when they first announced that they were launching a project. I said this has the potential to be not just the biggest story of the year for NFTs, but just like a game changer. And it seems like it's turning into that because it seems like there's a snowball that is gaining momentum on Reddit, and Reddit is the fucking that is the internet. Mm-hmm. That is where meme culture comes from. Like things that go viral start on fucking Reddit. So this is a massive Trojan horse for NFTs into the Reddit community, and the fact that it's like gaining traction, it can't be overstated. This is massive.
I think there is going to be a short-term loss of interest in this specific project, just like any project. Like I don't want to be like sitting here shilling Reddit NFTs and think that they're up. Dude, I don't even know what this is. The people bought these for $10 and are now selling them on like 100x ratio. You know what I'm talking? Like increments there. So
that's how NFTs should work.
I wish they worked more like that for me. But anyways, honestly, this in the long term, I think it could be the most bullish on like anything that we've seen in NFTs in the past year. Not just because of like again, it's the potential for mainstreaming and bringing in millions of new users, which again they're already showing with the wallet. So anyway, I feel like we've talked this to death, Q. Yeah, but it almost needs to be like Reddit could be the biggest platform in NFTs in the next cycle. This is what
It
you
really
can do.
could be. Well, I think to that point, look, I'll say it one more time. I think Reddit has now become, because of the success of this project and gaining so many new crypto wallets on Polygon, Reddit is set up to be the biggest launch pad for brand activations and integrations. Mm-hmm. So again, they're not going to call them NFTs, but there will be a ton of brands launching some kind of experience or activation through the Reddit platform and tapping into that user base.
Yeah. Agreed. Mr. Joker is saying selling the news, and you guys are absolutely killing the comments today, but selling the news is probably how I would describe it. Like in the short term, if you look to buy this right now in the next week or two, you probably could get wrecked. That's, again, not financial advice. I might go another 2-3x. I don't know, but this seems like a sell the news scenario. Long term, the most bullish. And I don't know if these are going to be like the NFT, like the crypto punks of Reddit NFTs, where it's like, oh, these were the first. That could be a narrative that could play. But
so, I mean, look, a lot of people do this with other NFT chains. They say, oh, it's the Bored Apes of Solana. It's the CryptoPunks of Tezos. It's the art blocks of Tezos. I could see people being like, yo, this is the CryptoPunks of Polygon. You know what I mean? Like, there aren't any of those on Polygon yet. Like, there are not fine art high-end collectibles on Polygon until now.
Yeah.
This is the House of Cards for Netflix, right?
Yeah.
That's so I know that we don't want to give financial advice. It's not what we do. Yeah. And yes, because it's hyped up right now, there's a good chance there will be a downturn in the short term. So you could get wrecked getting into it. But I'm still very interested in getting into it because of the potential for where it's going to go. And again, Reddit being what it is at the epicenter of all internet culture, and this being like the OG for that entire community, which is now a bigger community than is on OpenSea.
It's not sexy to talk about already having a product and then introducing NFTs. It's not. It's more sexy for like a DeFi platform to be like, no users whatsoever. Come get these tokens, come farm these tokens, but there's no sticky user base with those. What you have here is a community that was already there and already created. Yo, don't do that. Sorry, my dog's getting hyped up on Rarible, but they already had that community, and that's what's going to carry them to being one of the biggest projects that we think is going to be in the space. Last couple of comments here. Ronan is saying they nailed the ease of use to be able to onboard the people they did. Extremely easy experience to sign up, buy, etc. Wait till a sports brand throws out jerseys for your snoo. The fact that you can swap out features. Ooh. The fact that you can swap out features and mix and match is dope.
It is. That's what we're saying. We're talking about dynamic, automated PFP digital identities. They're at the forefront of that too. That's the other part of this, is that they're actually innovating. It's not just that they're like, oh, we're just a simple PFP like CryptoPunks without any utility. There's actually utility, and it's innovative. And again, it is built in. It is integrated into a massively valuable ecosystem. Like, look what happened with Twitter Spaces. Clubhouse was the social audio app. Where's Clubhouse now? Every once in a while, somebody's like, hey, we're doing a throwback. Come on over to Clubhouse. But no, Twitter Spaces ate their lunch because it is a single utility or tool built into a suite, an ecosystem, and a much larger, active, sticky community that is showing up there every single heckin' day. That is what Reddit is. Mm-hmm. So anyway.
Well, the funnel from Clubhouse was you get on Clubhouse to get back to Twitter. Like, that was the funnel. So like Twitter was just like, okay, here, we're the end point anyways. Like, let's just cut them out completely. So great point there. Gabe, and we'll finish this conversation with this. The new meta is onboarding users to NFTs without telling them they're using NFTs. At the end of the day.
Yeah, straight up.
All right.
I think, and you know what? I think that's going to be a big meta for the next year.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a short term, couple months.
Well,
I think that's going to be huge
until the price appreciation makes it so it's like, oh no, these are NFTs. You can make a whole bunch of money, and yeah, it's definitely a bull market thing. Okay, wait, what's Twitter Spaces? Is this why the users don't come to my Clubhouse rooms anymore? That is probably why you're sitting in there by yourself.
Yeah. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah, we were about to be, I would say, like 45 minutes into the episode. We're going to go for about an hour today. Quick hits that we completely missed. Right, we dove directly headfirst into Reddit, so we appreciate you guys having that discussion with us. Leave a like, please, and actually, no, we're not continuing until you go down there and leave a like, and then we will wait for you. We'll wait.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, that should be enough time. It doesn't take that long. 3 quick hits today. 3 quick hits. IRS coming out with some tax guidelines. Look, we're not fucking tax advisors. Everybody knows how everybody feels about taxes. They hate it. Capital gains tax, even worse. Because listen, like my thought process on capital gains is that it's incredibly bullshit to begin with. A lot of countries have no capital gains tax. I understand taxing everything else in my life, but if you're taxing investment gains when you take no of the liability, if I lose money, the government is not. Like if I go from zero to $10,000, they are not coming in and saying that I have to, they're coming in with any money to save my ass. But when I take the risk and actually put into an investment, and I'm making $10,000, yes, I can offset some of those with losses, but then again, that's my money to begin with. I capital gains fucking sucks to me to begin with. So any of these discussions, it's tough for me, but we'll go through this. Thoughts?
I mean, look, nobody likes taxes. Taxes suck. We don't want to pay taxes, but also we have to have some kind of regulatory frameworks and understanding of how this shit works in order for it to keep growing and to mainstream. So it's a necessary evil, and that's a fucking annoying thing to say. Like, I don't like saying, oh, well, it's a necessary evil. Just pay your taxes. I don't like saying that. It's just true. It's the way that the world works. We need it. And so it's actually bullish on the space long term that the government is now clear, like providing clear guidance on here's how all you NFT traders and flippers operate within the law. And here's how you can use, now you can start to learn the system and maximize it, to your benefit. And so again, it's like, yeah, I don't want to be paying almost 30%. It's 28%. Like that sucks.
Yeah.
But these are important fundamental steps for a mainstream adoption that have to happen. We all knew it was coming, unless you're just delusional and think that like you can live in a fucking libertarian odyssey or fantasy without like anarchy. Yeah, anarchy. Let's just not have any fucking government regulations at all. Like, okay, yeah. I thought anarchy was cool in 5th grade too, bro. But like that's not the world that we live in, and so it's an important step, and I'm just glad that it's moving forward.
To be fair, there are a lot of places in the world that set their regulation up so that people that are these like digital nomads can take advantage and I say take advantage, but it actually helps the country when they move there because it adds GDP, it adds like all of this stuff.
It creates more competition and opportunity for other countries to add crypto tourism into their economy, right? So it's like, hey, now you know where the U.S. stands with 28%. Portugal is about to go fucking crazy. Maybe some other country like Spain is like, shit, we're doing 10% taxes. Come over here. You know what I mean? It's like it creates markets. Just by having some clarity around the U.S., which is the biggest market in the world, still the biggest economy, by having that clarity, it now creates opportunities and more markets, right? So,
yeah. So I want to get into the details when we talk taxes, it's always tough because it's like you're talking politics. At the end of the day, it's like you're getting into politics, so like people have very like visceral views on all this stuff, so it's tough for us to sit up here and kind of have an Alex Jones podcast for about the entire show. So the detail that you need to be concerned with is that the IRS actually comes out here and says that NFTs are taxed as collectibles. That was not in the regulation beforehand. Of course, they're trying to get their grips around this. I liked what I think Andy James was saying earlier, in that this is all reactive types of ways that the IRS works anyways, right? It's all reactive.
Also, though, so one thing that's getting buried here that we didn't mention, like Andy James came in with some really, really great perspective, like he always heckin' does. Shout out Andy James, fucking man. Love seeing him in our shows, always. But one thing that I think is being insinuated here and kind of buried that might be incredibly important is that by classifying NFTs in tax regulations as collectibles, as opposed to similar to stocks and bonds, I think what they're saying is like the majority of all NFTs are not securities.
Yes, that is what they're actually saying. I think literally
that's also
the SEC.
A win.
Well,
that's
the IRS,
also a win, right?
Yeah, it's okay. So it's not under their jurisdiction. SEC is the one that has the jurisdiction to classify things as stocks and things like that. So maybe we get pounded from both sides here, or maybe they work together. I don't know, but it definitely is like IRS coming out and saying collectibles. Yes, I think on the. And this is what we were trying to figure out in real time, because this news just dropped like literally in the last 24 hours, is what is the tax rate for collectibles? Because the number that we saw was 28%. And the number for other assets like stocks, depending on long-term capital gains, goes from anywhere from 0 to 15 to 20 to 25%. So while yes, it's awesome to not worry about Bored Apes being, stocks or things like that, the actual tax rate itself, and I need to figure this out, so please somebody school me.
It's a high tax rate. That sucks, right? But again, it still has to happen. Like, to me, it's not even political, because like I get what you mean. It's like when you're like, oh, less taxes or more taxes, that's a political question. But the idea of like taxes versus no taxes.
What to tax? Where you draw the line is political.
Like we live in a world where the government is going to take taxes no matter what, and you have to have some kind of like understanding of how the tax system is going to treat it. Again, I like less taxes too, so maybe that's the political argument, but I don't think it's a political argument to say that there has to be some kind of framework legally for how this shit's going to be taxed. It has to happen regardless of where you are in the political spectrum. Cam Taylor's in the chat saying that it is also a win about not being classified under the SEC.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Cam Taylor?
Yeah, 25 of y'all here in the chat. We are live on Twitch, we are live on Twitter, and we are live on YouTube. So if you're watching us from any of those platforms, we appreciate y'all. We're trying to add Facebook. What else are we trying to add, Gift? Like where should we go?
Are we live on Twitch? Are we live on Twitch?
I think I said that. I said it first. Yeah, we're live on Twitch.
Yeah, we're gonna be on
what
LinkedIn
up, Twitch?
soon. Yeah, let's get on fucking LinkedIn.
I'm gonna put a poll in chat.
Yo, we should just change the name of the Web3 network on LinkedIn to Web 2.5
True.
network.
And we should like psyop them by like having Reddit avatars, and then like, yeah, we just found out about these. Check it out.
Heck yeah. Yeah, so many great comments over here. What's up, y'all? Thanks for chilling with us on a Monday.
28% was top marginal rate. I think, yeah, I didn't see any details around like collectibles on long term. Again, holding something for longer than a year, you were likely going to get that like extreme tax benefit of it going down to like 15%, which I can stomach a little bit. Okay, I can stomach 15. Your taxes all went to Ukraine, 12 billion recently on top of whatever billion. We're heavily in Alex Jones territory here.
All right, now we're getting political. Yeah. Yo, it's the deep state, bro.
Yeah, Genetics saying government, shit, we misspent our treasury. Oh, look, crypto, which at the end of the day, and Andy made this point again, I wish we could get Andy on NFT Live, although Andy like flourishes on the Twitter Spaces. So we want to have some point where we stand out as like being smart, though, Gif. I think that's the point.
I don't know if that's happening. Yeah, we'll keep trying, though. We'll keep trying.
Ronan saying, but what price are you even taxing it at? Like, what's the value of my BAYC when it comes to taxing? This is the whole issue with taxes. Nobody really understands anything that's going on, nor is it actually like
But now it's going to be figured out. Like again, these are just steps. Like nobody knows all the answers right now, but at least they're putting the foundational sort of framework in place so that. Like, I think
they don't even know. They don't even know.
They don't. I think Andy was the one that was pointing out, like, look, what this does is it creates a direction for jurisprudence and like a means for jurisprudence and precedents to be set. So now, like, there's going to be taxes and money involved and handled through our legal system. There will be lawsuits. There will be, people getting wrecked on their taxes. And then all of this over the next 5 years is going to play out in the courts, and all the precedents is going to get set. Like, this is just perfect. Like, this is how our country works. This is how policy is made.
Yeah. There's a lot of differences in the way that things can be taxed, though. Like even the Republican Party and the Democratic Party cannot kind of agree on what should be taxed, who should be taxed, how those percentages look. So I think it is that spectrum. There was a comment in chat. We're talking like directly now. We're having a tax conversation. Only when you sell do you pay taxes. That is correct. If you buy an 8 for 300 and sell for 100, you owe 28% on 100K. That's not necessarily true. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is like 28% is under that or outside of that long-term capital gains holding longer than 365 days. That's when it goes down to about 15%. So does that actually work out in this collectibles stance is what I'm personally trying to figure out. So, dude, you guys are blowing it up. I love the chat right now, Gif.
I love it. I love the chat, Q.
All right, I'm gonna throw up a poll between. I mean, I was thinking about throwing up like a LinkedIn versus Facebook to see where we want to move next. Like, I want to get people's take on where we should be live next.
Yeah, which is more toxic to the NFT community, LinkedIn or Meta? Which one do you want us to go to least?
Ooh,
maybe that's the question.
Okay.
Yeah, which is the worst platform to be on for NFT Live and for the Web3 network? Yeah, Action Crypto coming in with the info. But yeah, somebody down here was saying, where is it? They need regulation so we can reform it. That's what Mr. Joker says. We need regulation so we can reform it. That is the process. And that's what Andy was saying on GM Web3. He was saying, look, our policy making is reactive. Like, we're so far behind on technology when it comes to making new policy. It's all reactive. And so, yeah, we need these foundational steps so that we can move forward with the process of policy making and litigating it. That's just how it fucking works, man. Like it or not.
Yeah. It's funny because like everybody gets their ideals on different subjects, right? Like where the royalties conversation we were having the past week, I was like, this is kind of how it works. This is like what we have to deal with. And then like there are people in this discussion that hold on to their ideals as well, where they're just like, and I don't want to say hold on to the ideals, but they like stand staunchly on the hill and they're going to die there. You know what I mean? So it's a cool combo.
Yeah. I mean, if I had stood staunchly on the anarchy hill, that I believed in when I was in 5th and 6th grade, I don't know where I'd be right now. But I don't know. It's an interesting combo. What else we got?
I'm moving on. I'm just making sure. So we got the poll there in chat. So we have Insta. I don't even think I added Instagram, but we should be on there. Instagram Live. It's just kind of tough trying to figure out that medium because we can't like stream to that because it's on mobile. So yeah, we'll look at that. But that chat is live. So we have Facebook, we have LinkedIn, and we have TikTok. I think I added.
We do have a TikTok. Y'all get on the Web3 TikTok. We're starting to share a lot of awesome clips there, including some of my man on the street interviews. Those are some of the first videos we posted on TikTok. I think we almost got our first 300 followers on TikTok. We're getting close to 300 already. Yo, get on Web3 TikTok. Let's have it go.
I feel like we had a conversation about taxes for the last 10 minutes, and I'm actually more confused because
talking about taxes too. Like,
Action Crypto is saying the crazy thing is that if you use an NFT for personal use, like displaying a painting on a wall in your home, as opposed to keeping it in storage, then you will not be able to claim a capital loss.
Oh God. Oh God, bro. All right.
Yeah.
I think I've had enough tax talk for one day.
Enough tax talk. We will. Oh, then you'll love this talk. We got Azuki selling 2.5 million, 309 ETH, record-breaking 8 skateboards, 309 ETH. I'm doing my Marty McFly if you guys can't tell there. But yeah, it looks like Azuki was able to raise 2.5 mil. And they say that these were the most expensive skateboards ever sold. So more good news from Azuki, I guess. Also, I'm a huge simp for gold. So as much as these are like literally gold skateboards that they sold, like 24 karat gold skateboards, and
they're gold plated. They're gold plated,
not through and through.
No, I'm sure that the whole thing is not gold. Absolutely not.
Be hard to ride.
I don't think anybody's riding those. That would actually be hilarious if somebody who bought one was like doing a kickflip with it. I'm sure somebody's got to do the most expensive kickflip.
All right, the Golden Skateboard is a marvel art and technology showcasing our first implementation of PBT, which paves the way for a new era of storytelling. We broke the record for most expensive.
Token. Yeah. So we were talking about this at IRL Alpha. I think we hit on this a little bit last week too. Like, look, it's basically a glorified NFC or RFID chip that they're trying to create a new standard with. The benefit or the actual innovation is that it is all like integrated on chain, right? Like whatever's happening there. So, you know, you got to give them credit where it's due. They're trying to innovate and create new standards. And then the fact that, you know, as you know, DB's being the first crypto native skate brand, being the first project to launch with skateboards, being the first project to sponsor skaters, I obviously love skating. It's been a big part of my history growing up. And I think what's interesting about this moment, again, I'm not a fan of Azuki because of the founders and all that drama. So I'm not here to pump Azuki's bags. But here's a cool thing about this moment and what they've done here. That's that, like, besides skateboarding, another part of my childhood was graffiti writing, right? Black book sketches, growing up with street art. When I was really young, street art was not mainstream. It was very much, you know, subversive subculture of art. It was not in museums. And then BAYC came along, Shepard Fairey came along and did big gallery shows and started selling street art for millions of dollars. And now street art is respected by massive museums and art collectors around the world. BAYC sells in Christie's all the time. And even his shenanigans of like destroying his art, you know, graffitiing his own artwork that's selling for millions of dollars, even that is celebrated and it's worth more now. What I see here is a transition for skateboarding into a much more mainstream appreciation of the art form. Skateboarding is pure expression. It is an art form, right? And so when you've got gold skateboards selling for, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to me, this is like a sign of the mainstream adoption and acceptance of skateboarding culture in a new way.
Love it. Love that take. We are going to have that be a very quick piece of news. So we are going to move on to the next piece. But Azuki, I mean, it's tough because they still feature Zagabond in the trailer for this drop, which is like, okay, like obviously, like where do we draw the line of maybe having Azuki be a front runner for the NFT space? Not right now. It feels like that. I mean, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from yourself as well. So
too soon for me, bro.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get into the next piece. It was close to my heart. Okay, I came in. We were talking about Web3 and media about a week ago on the GM Web3 show, and you guys asked what was my favorite movie, and what did I say, Gift? Do you remember what I said? Do you remember what I say in these rooms, or do you just instantly forget and move on?
I try not to listen to you actively. I try not to.
That's fine. Well, the
Lord of the Rings. Oh, what was the King?
Oh God.
Yeah. Return of the King.
Yes, there he goes. Yeah, I only had to show him the actual answer in order to get in.
Yo, I'm watching the Rings of Power. I love that shit.
Yeah, and let's get into. I'm gonna. Do you hear this guy?
Spank that dog. What kind of dog you got, Q? Show us your.
Man.
Let's bring your dog in here for a cameo. Let's get a cameo.
I'm gonna try.
Q's puppy.
Come here. He gets into this thing where he knows I'm trying to reach for him, so he like
doesn't
backs
trust
up.
You. So you're saying your own dog doesn't trust you, Q? What does that say about you as a person?
I don't know. Anyways, what I'm trying to say about Lord of the Rings, thank you very much. One of my favorite movies of all time, one of my favorite series of all time, Lord of the Rings, is launching a Web3 movie experience, and guess what? It does not move the needle for me. This launch here was super tired, in my opinion. It's not a full move into Web3, which I can understand. You know, everybody's trying to kind of see how they can make their own entrance. It's an experiment, but it's tired, dude. It's the utility. So they're launching this for the Two Towers. They're launching this for the Fellowship of the Ring to start, and then Return of the King last. And the utility is just like okay, full length feature film, extended edition, 4K UH. Who gives a shit? Over 8 hours of special features plus commentaries. It's like, it's been out for 20 years. Like I don't need the extra commentaries on these things. Like if you're a diehard, if you're an absolute diehard, then maybe. But there's like 12 people that this applies to. And do you think they're in Web3? Probably not. Location specific image galleries, location specific AR collectibles, maybe
So,
the
okay,
AR.
here's okay. Here's the unfortunate truth about this. And again, we're saying this as Lord of the Rings fans, and we very much want Lord of the Rings and any of these big brands to succeed in the space. So we're not fudding, we're not talking shit, but I think the unfortunate truth is that we're going to see a whole lot more of this kind of stuff because what Warner Brothers and all these big music labels, what most of them are trying to do is put this shit on rails. They're trying to create a streamlined process to monetize their archives and their audiences using NFT tech. And so the unfortunate thing is that they're just trying to create like a product that they can streamline and just apply that same product to all their different franchises. And so I think we're going to see a lot of the exact same shit. The website will be very similar. The assets and the utilities will be very similar because they're just trying to come up with a simple,
Oh my God.
solution. Yeah, that
The
can work for all
10,000
their,
mint.
yeah, of course. So I think the unfortunate thing is that like I don't think we're going to get really bespoke, super creative executions from these big studios because they're just trying to create sort of a one size fits all solution that then they just regurgitate across their portfolio.
Listen, at the end of the day, it just doesn't move the needle for me. Like and I get it. Like they're trying to move at whatever pace, to Gabe's point, that they're able to move at. And he's completely right here. He said they moved at a glacial pace and missed the market window. If this launched a year ago, it would have done extremely well, or at least better than I'm sure it's doing now.
Huge. Yeah.
So,
and now they'll look at it like it was a failure if it doesn't do really well. And it's just like, nah, y'all are just too slow and out of touch with what's happening currently in the market. And you're not creating really, really unique, innovative things, period. Like if they collaborate with the right people and build into the community in interesting ways, like
yeah. And
different.
I love the comments that are coming through, dude, because like honestly, we're getting in real time kind of the same, I wouldn't say the same takes, but like takes in a variety of different ways. So Zoo NFT is just saying TLDR, cash grab. I mean, at the end of the day, like that's what it feels like.
And that's what most of these are going to be. Like that's the unfortunate truth about this is that they're not going to spend months creating some really, really unique and novel original project. They're going to say, hey, do you have that NFT, solution, that program that we ran on Lord of the Rings? We need to go run it on, Superman or whatever. So they're just going to recycle the same shit and try and bust it out in like a month or two and see if they can make more money with it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's
sucks.
fair. It almost feels like and I want to get your take here. It's hard to launch an NFT project or a product into an IP as old as Lord of the Rings if it's not about the Rings of Power, if it's not about something current. Like I'm almost thinking like, okay, then what is the best entrance for the Return of the King, like original series Lord of the Rings to get into this space? It's all like I'm having a tough time trying to figure out the answer to that. Like Rings of Power,
yeah. I mean, I don't know that just doing it that way was ever the right way. You know what I mean? Like Lord of the Rings has a lot of brand equity built up into it, but like making it relevant to the Web3 audience. Yeah, I think to your point, Rings of Power is the most relevant thing happening with that brand right now. So either they have to create something new and unique, in my opinion, or again, they're just repackaging and trying to monetize their archive, their portfolio.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the IP there is split as well. Like I don't know who owns Rings of Power. Like
Amazon. Well,
yeah,
Amazon is the
Amazon.
one, creating the show.
Yeah. So it's not Warner Brothers because this is a Warner Brothers launch here. So there's a little bit of a difference there. Yeah.
That's IP, right? That's that's complicated.
Yeah. Genetics had a great comment as well. Remember when you got a rare Pokemon card when you went to the Mewtwo movie? That was pretty dope. That was a cool activation. Although that's when Mr. Joker saying that's when Pokemon cards went downhill. So
Yeah, Ronan was asking about the back cows. I've been staying away from any of these that feel like they're cash grabs from big brands. So like I know that the back cows were being launched. Wasn't that on Vivi? Like we were talking about Vivi. That sounds like a Vivi drop. Or was that Ethereum or something else?
what which drop was it again? Thoughts
The
on the
bat
Bat
cows,
Cow?
Batman cows. Yeah. So it's like the face mask or whatever. I think it's called a cowl.
I
Yeah,
think I think the guys that own the Starship, not Starship Troopers, amazing movie, but the Stormtrooper IP tried to do a launch as well with like physicals.
yeah.
Who's done a movie launch well, like movie IP
I
with
mean,
an
this is
NFT
cool.
product?
Like I'm looking at it. So it's on nft.dcuniverse.com.
Definitely
So they
V.
have their own DC marketplace, which again, I thought it was on Vivi, but I'm not actually sure what.
Palm,
Um, it's on Palm. Okay, so it's
Palm
on
Network.
some weird chain. Uh, they look cool. Like it's good art, and it's cool to see all the different versions of the Batman mask in different colorways. They look cool. Yeah, I haven't been paying close attention to it because it's not my normal sort of collectible project or
This,
whatever, but they look cool.
yeah, we're gonna look at this in real time, and oftentimes we're gonna read a title and maybe get a visceral reaction. It might not say all that needs to be said, but if this is true, that they're selling 200,000 of these at 300 a pop,
Yo,
it's just like
that is a cash grab, bro. How do you how do you gain value? I mean, look, maybe they go up in value, but when there's 200,000 of them, like there's going to be a few rare ones that maybe will gain value, but like that supply is absurd. How are you creating value for your it's basically an open edition. You know what I mean? Like how are you creating value for the collectors
yeah.
when the supply is that fucking high?
This I actually had this conversation with Jordan Lyle when he was, dropping the Matrix drop as well, which, objectively did really well. I think they made a ton of money on that. But I think there's almost an argument. There's a part of the NFT space. This is the way I'll put it. There's a part of the NFT space that is not focused on dropping things that go up in value. Like NBA Top Shot, although they packaged it in this certain way, they were dropping supply onto the market every freaking second. You look another week, there was another full 100,000 card drop or something like that. There were 200,000 people in line waiting for these, which was dope. But how many of those are bots? All these different things. The Matrix drop, the Crypto Kitties. I made a tweet about this the other day. Crypto Kitties should be seen as a valuable NFT in your wallet. They were one of the first, I would say the first mainstream NFT. No one could give a shit less because the supply is that far. And that's because Dapper Labs doesn't care about doing that. Like the thing that you just said, how does this increase value for the holder? Like they don't give a shit. They see it in a whole different way.
And I think again, that's when this is the issue with a lot of VC backed companies and big established Web 2 companies is that when you're in that Web 2 mentality, which VCs are, it's all about bottom line. You are not coming at this to create value for the community or long-term sustainability. You are operating on a 3-month report card. Every 3 months, you've got to go to your stakeholders and shareholders and show, are you profitable? Are you not? How much did you beat expectations by? That's what's driving this, not community value, not long-term success of the NFT space, or for traders and artists to do well. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. It is a cash grab, and it fucking sucks because you know what? That's going to be a big part of the space, but I don't know. They get washed doing this. They get fucked. They keep betting on things and they keep seeing them go down because they keep buying into these big hype projects from big brands that aren't coming at it from the perspective of how do we create utility and value for this community specifically, instead of just how do we make the fastest money off of these people and sell them a bunch of junk.
Yeah. It's a fair point to be made about people getting into Web3. Obviously, there's going to be a ton of big brands, movies, IP being one of them. So we've seen a ton of them come into the space. I'm just kind of asking the question, like, which one has been successful from a user standpoint or a collector standpoint? Like, we've seen these larger drops around these movies, and it's like, which ones have been successful? I don't know. So. Anyways, the last thing I do want to get to, we're not going to touch on Rarible, but we do have an interview with Alex Salnikov, the CEO of Rarible. So they're dropping a bunch of different features into this Rarible 2 piece. So I'll share this video, and we have Rarible on tomorrow to talk about Rarible 2. Okay. Tune in tomorrow, 3:30. Look, good job on the animation.
Yeah, cool video. We can also, so that's Nifty Q show tomorrow, y'all. Rarible CEO coming on. I was gonna see if I can share.
Please do. That was
share my Blur airdrop real quick here at the end. So, can you see my screen, or can you? Is it in there? So basically, you go to blur.io, you connect your wallet, and then you go up to airdrop. It'll tell you if you've got ones to claim, and then you have to go list. Somewhere. It'll show you where. I think it's here, but yeah, I listed a couple, so I was able to claim like 20 something, 23, I think, on this one. So you can see these are the ones that I already opened. All of them are still uncommon. I don't know. Do you have audio too?
Yes.
Cool. So we'll open just a couple of these, see if I get a rare one. Let's see. So it's a cool little animation when you reveal it. So let's see what happens here. Yo, did I just hit a rare?
Yo,
holy shit. Yo, first one we opened. That's what's up. All right, I got my first rare, because even in my other wallet, I just had like 2 or 3 of them, and they were all uncommon. So y'all were here for it. I just fucking unlocked my first rare Blur care package. So
sheesh.
How about that?
Congrats, bro. Look
at you. That's how most of these are gonna go. Maybe we jump down here. Let's just go open up a couple of random ones. See what happens. All right, we'll do 2 more.
Yo, is this like a lot of boxes? Do you have more boxes than the average folk?
So I talked to somebody at Web3SD this weekend who had like 150. I've got like 25 so far. So I'm doing okay, but I know that there's some people that are fucking like making out like fucking bandits with this shit. But again, we don't actually know what these are worth yet. All we know is how many care packages you have and the rarity of them, uncommon, rare, or legendary. Sorry, we'll open one more here.
I need the legendary.
Let's go! Yo, I just opened up 2 fucking rares on the show. All right, we doing all right. I'm cool with that.
Okay, I like it.
Shit.
Yo,
you're my good luck charm, Q.
Mr. Joker saying live juju. You got the live juju. We got a let's fucking go from Marty McFly. So we look the vibes. The vibes are immaculate here on NFT Live on a Monday.
Our vibe, our tribe, y'all. Y'all couldn't have done it without this chat. I think it was all the good juju from this amazing chat today. So big love to every single one of y'all participating. If you haven't, though, make sure to like this shit. Give us the thumbs up, y'all. It doesn't cost you anything, but it makes a big difference. And if you are not subscribed to Web3 Network, we've got so much stuff in the works. We're always doing these shows. We do NFT Live 4 days a week. We got Fun Uncle. We got Speakeasy and GM Web3. We got Nifty Q Show tomorrow with the Rarible CEO. So, and we're bringing on new shows. We're talking to new people. If you want to get involved, there's an invite. This is an open invite. If you want to produce your own segments, your own pre-records, if you want to get on NFT Live, we want more of you to get involved. So open invite to all y'all amazing people out there. Come join us on this journey.
All right, we're at about an hour and 20 minutes, so we are gonna, say goodbye to you all. Thank you for showing up on a Monday. We just closed the poll. Which is the worst platform for Web3 to move on to? And it looks like Meta and Facebook took the cake. So I guess we can't move to Facebook now. We can't move to Meta. Unfortunate. It looks like LinkedIn, we're coming at you. So get ready for us, Web2.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We're getting out of here. Our Vibe, our tribe. Thank you for tuning in. We're here tomorrow. You know what it is. So see you then. Our Vibe, our tribe.